Namaste. I've not made a YouTube for some time, and my wife's asked me to say a few words about a subject that she's been interested in. She's been involved with a website called Baggage Reclaimed, and it is the function of the site is to help people that have been in abusive relationships. And she asked me if there was anything in possibly how to mend a broken heart that might be useful in avoiding abusive relationships. So I said, well, I'll try and put something together. All of us are invisible souls. We operate from within our body. I don't know whether it's within or without, or whether the soul is an aura that contains the body, or the body has something inside it like a point of light. I don't know. But what I do know is that there is an I that's inside this physical form, and I reach out into the physical world through these hands, through through my mouth, through my words, through my actions, through my deeds, and so on. And I think all of us walk the road of life often asking, who am I, what am I doing here? And it's in the doing, it's in the being that we discover who we are. So by interacting with other people, we discover what I'm like. I discover what I can tolerate, what I can't tolerate, what I approve of, what I don't approve of, what I love and what I find painful. And within every one of us there is an enormous capacity to love. Well, that's natural, but the only way that our love becomes manifest is when we have someone or something to give it to. So I had, when I was younger, I had several dogs, and I used to shower affection on my dogs because I found that much more comfortable than being openly affectionate with people. Consequently, when my first dog died, it was like a piece of me had died, because that was the only living thing that knew I'm very kind, that I have a very kind side to me. So all of us want to be known outside, and it's part of the discovery process through which we discover the inside. And this willingness to love needs a receiver. If we have no one to love, then it's as if we've got the formula, the magic formula for life, but nobody wants it. And so we wonder, what is my love worth? I believe I would be a good person, that I would love another person. I believe that I'd be kind. I believe I'd be generous. But until we get a chance to do it, we don't prove it to ourselves. And so this is one of the parts of ourselves that we've not learnt to love. And so what happens is, I think what happens in abusive relationships, and I've been reading up one or two things that my wife may be aware of, there are patterns that abusers use when they meet somebody. It's not a straightforward reaction, person-to-person interaction. They'll use catchphrases like, oh, I don't think you could love me. I don't know, no, I don't think anybody could love me. Immediately you say that, it brings out a willingness to prove, oh yeah, I could love you. I'm very compassionate, I'm very understanding. At that point, I think the trap is that we go into a type of self-sacrifice, where in order to prove that we are loving, that we're understanding and caring and nice, we decide to go as far as we have to prove the point. And this is where my wife's particular interest is in narcissists. And narcissists, they've actually got mental problems. They're incapable of loving, but they're very good at luring people into relationships where the other person does all the loving. And so my wife was saying to me, why do people fall for it? You know, what lures them in? And I said, well, I think it's this need to have the part of us known that is very loving. Anyone that's got children knows that you can do that with your kids. That you can accept that they've broken the television set, or they've, I don't know, set fire to the garden shed. You still love them, whatever they do. And I think that where abusers get in is that they plug into that part of us, but then they keep testing it. So they get us in on a contract to start with, which is that nobody can love me. That's what they say. And then you say, yes, I can love you. And then they set tests. And each test gets a bit more difficult. So, okay, I snore in bed. Oh, I could love that. Well, I snore in bed and my feet smell. Oh, I could love that. And then it gets to something more obnoxious. And then it gets to maybe affairs with other people. And, cheating relationships. Could you love that? And of course, every time you up the ante, every time you take on to love qualities that you should really say, no, I'm not happy with that. I think we need to rethink this. Maybe we're not compatible. But in order to prove that you're this loving person, you go into self-sacrifice. Now, the Course in Miracles is very, very clear about this. It says, in the Course, it says, I ask you to make only one sacrifice, and that is to give up sacrificing. So, at the point where you give up sacrificing, if someone said, well, you couldn't love me, I think alarm bells should ring, and you should step back and go, what are you saying? What kind of a deal are you offering? I have to what? I have to love things that you're going to do to me that anybody else would say were cruel, or I'm not a loving person. Do you know, if I was a lawyer, I'd say don't sign that contract. In fact, run a mile.